Hello, everybody. We are now recording. Um, they were having a coaching session with JJohn. Gonna learn lots of stuff. I hope. I don't know if he's actually played the set or not, but here we go. Oh, I should shut the music off.
Hello. Hey.
You say something really quick? Okay. Yeah. Okay. And let me put in desktop audio is not a Okay, can you say something again?
Hello.
You guys hear him?
Testing. Audio.
Confirmed. All right, cool.
Woo.
Um, Everyone can hear. Cool. Awesome. How much of the set have you played so far, JJohn?
Like medium.
Like a medium
Yeah.
amount?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, yeah, I've played it. Like, I played some best of 3 and best of 1. And yeah, I like it. It's been fun.
Um, I think that there's something different about this set than all the most recent ones.
hmm
Would you be able to pinpoint exactly what it is? Because I'm having a lot of trouble with whatever's happening.
Well, one of the things that I think is kind of different, just because of the mechanics of like vehicles, um, no pun intended, is that the way we like keep track of how many creatures people have, um like is not the way it is in normal limited sets where vehicles are more scarce. Because like, for example, if you're counting blockers, right, and someone has 3 creatures and 2 vehicles, they don't have 5 creatures, they have 3 creatures, the minimum, assuming that they can crew in a 1 creature to 1 vehicle rate. And stuff like that can be interesting because a lot of it changes things even as much as like the combat. Um so um like, if for example, um let's say someone attacks you and you want to trade off your creature, well, then that's going to cost you potentially the ability to crew a vehicle in the future. And let's say, for example, you want to crew a vehicle, but then they kill your vehicle in response to you crewing it. Now
Yeah.
you're down an extra blocker,
Yep.
that you are counting on having,
Yep.
and so like stuff like that changes the dynamics of combat and the way creatures work, and that might be it. At least to me, that's something that is feels a little bit different from this set versus some of the others.
Yeah, I think actually only like maybe yesterday or 2 days ago that I realized that like because I feel it more and more, and only now that I catch on like, oh, if I crew this and they kill something, I'm
Hmm.
like I don't have blockers
Yeah,
now. So then like I haven't hesitated yet. It hasn't like the reality of it hasn't sunken in completely. But I
yeah.
understand that's what happens now.
Yeah, and it also works the other way too, because sometimes you can, let's say your opponent wants to block with their like their vehicle, right? They have a big vehicle, and you like attack with all your guys. Then if you can entice them to crew their vehicle and then kill it in response, then you can turn what might have not been a great attack into like a pretty good one.
But how would I know when to do that?
A lot of the same kind of heuristics that we use for regular combat still apply. We just have to kind of plan a little more is how I think about it. Because like, um, you can still count how many blockers you anticipate them to have, and you can try and actively plan out what happens if they have a removal spell. What happens if they crew this way when I have a removal spell? And so, like a lot of things playing Magic, I think it boils down to a lot of like planning and foresight, which is often easier to talk about than it is to do. But that's where kind of the repetition and practice comes in of just kind of learning some of the patterns of the set and kind of working through them that way.
Okay.
Have you, just to check, have you had any games recently, or like drafts that you wanted to go over either from like 17 lands, or were you thinking of more like jumping into something fresh? Like what were you thinking?
Well, I think we'll have to jump into something fresh. Hi, Mercurio. Thank you for the raid.
Okay.
Because I am a bad student lately, and I haven't thought about it.
Okay. All good.
I just know I just expected you to like fix whatever's wrong with me, but you know. I'm joking. I think there were several that I was like, oh, I should look back and think about that, but I didn't actually write it down. So yeah, I think we will have to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless anyone remembers a game that I really fucked up on and you think, hey, you should really look at that. Raz says, JJohn does not have a Twitch. JJohn doesn't even like. He just sort of hangs out in the chat here and there. He's not a content creator, and he also
I'm just
does. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just a lowly chatter.
No, he's not lowly. He's just really good, and like that's really it. He's not even he doesn't even like coach for a job. This is just him doing it for fun.
Yeah.
Getting water.
So chat, how's the old chatting?
The old Chanduin. Ratsaz over here is a very new draft baby player. Like only like a week ago they started playing draft, so this will be good for them.
Awesome. Cool. I hope it's been going well, or if not, at least entertaining.
Let me write down what you said really quick. Guess we start again.
Okay.
What do you think we should do?
Whatever you're feeling. Have you been playing more best of 3 or best of 1?
I've actually been doing like, I feel like I've been doing an equal amount because I was like, for a week I was only doing best of 3 and then I kind of went back to best of 1. And then I sort of go back and forth depending on which one I'm doing worse at.
Gotcha.
That week.
Yeah, maybe we can just try the best of 1. That way we can play against more different stuff.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, did you want to screen share it on Discord too? Just because that way I'm not delayed from just seeing the stream. Cool.
Okay. Oh, you don't see my cursor.
Oh, it's a Volcron. Hello, sir.
Oh. Yes, JJohn was never dead.
Kinda though.
What?
There was a magic lull, just in the middle there. Oh,
that's true.
But
yeah, you did kind of quit Magic for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Volcron means he missed you.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a very I don't know if but I don't know them that well, but they're a very good player.
Oh, they are? Like I see them around here. I see Volcron sometimes here. How do you like hang out in the same Discord or something?
No, but I've chatted with him on Discord before.
Ah, okay.
Um, but yeah, if Volkran suggests lines to you, they're probably pretty good, and if not correct, they're at the very least well reasoned. um,
Okay.
but no, yeah, they're very good. So I would trust them over your average chatter like 10 times out of 10.
Good to know. Oh my god, it's not. Is it because of Kaladesh
Hmm?
that this is taking so long?
I don't know. Hopefully, it just fills up. Maybe I mean the set's been out for a while. I feel like just the longer the sets are out, the longer the queues kind of take. But looks like it's getting there.
I guess I still feel like the set's only been out for like 2 weeks to me because I have such a hard time grasping it.
Yeah, yeah.
So when did you start picking up Magic again?
I mean, I've been playing like kind of off and on still. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I kind of skipped the era where there was like Foundations and some Pioneer Masters. I think I didn't really play very much, but
I feel like you like didn't really miss out on much with those, but I also feel like you would have liked them.
nice. All right. So what are you thinking with this here pack here?
Um, Petrodonkadonk.
That seems reasonable. What else do you think about this pack?
um, I think this pack sucks. I think I have a tendency to lean towards green. Um, because it's just like the best color. But
Uh
I
huh.
otherwise don't really see much that entices me to go in a color other than green.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
like
I think Ketradon is.
maybe white.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh, oh, sorry. I didn't. I said kind of cut you off at the end. Sorry, I didn't hear
Oh,
if you said
no.
something else.
No, yeah, I just said maybe white because Riot's ends are good, but those always wheel or something, you know?
Yeah, I think Ride's End was the other reasonable pick there. And that like it has the advantage you can splash Ride's End in a lot of decks too, which I think I've done a decent amount.
Oh, people fucking
But
splash that?
yeah, because it's a good removal spell that costs only 1 white, so you can just like grab them, and if you prioritize fixing as you play, you can put them in a lot of like basically any deck. They all want removal, and but sometimes you don't always get your on-color removal. So if you pick fixing as you go over like mediocre cards, specifically in the color of white, then you can just pick off all the extra rides end that are going around, and then it allows you access to removal in some of the drafts where otherwise wouldn't have been available.
Um, I like Sky Crash.
Okay, Sky Crash is decent. I would be on the mole here. I
Yeah,
know you
fuck this
have
guy.
a adversarial relationship with the mole, but
You know
I'm
what?
a
Here
big fan of the mole.
we're in a learning journey here today. I need to fucking learn how to deal with this. And just so you know, if I still get mad at this and I don't see any redeeming quality, I'm just crossing this out forever. Just forever.
Very well.
Fuck this thing. Okay. I don't know how to feel about this Gear Hulk in particular. I usually
Mhm.
just like the Gruul one.
Yeah.
Um, but I have a trouble liking the Gear Hulks in general because of all the double pip.
Mhm.
How do you
So
feel
like the
about that?
Gearhulks are usually powerful. I think the blue white one is maybe the best one, followed by the Gruul one. But either way, they're two colors that we're not currently in right now, and we have a really good card in Scurryfoot is like, a premier common. So I think just picking it and staying green makes sense. And then keeping track of some of the cards we're passing. So like passing that Gearhulk, passing Our Victory, which is kind of like a red black card,
Mm-hmm.
and passing the black 4 mana thing. Um,
The Doll Pactor.
yeah, which is
Okay.
pretty good black card as well. So we should kind of anticipate that black might be shut off from us coming back, and just kind of keep that in mind.
Okay. That's Raz, as you sort of asked about like signals and stuff like that. That's sort of like a signally type of thing.
Yeah, it really at the end of the day, like signals and stuff, are largely just taking into like consideration the things you've passed and been passed, and trying to figure out what's going on at the table. And there are various factors, but that's kind of what goes into it. Here, I would maybe be on the Gallant Strike. I think it's a good enough card to speculate on. That red black card, by the way, if you are near red black, is like extremely good. Like that card is absurd, but I don't think that we're in those colors right now.
Ooh. I will always pick Ketrodon for the most part. But I feel like the Mammoth is good, but also sometimes it falls short. Like we can talk about it later, but I
Yeah.
think I'll pick this one.
Okay. Okay. I think it's pretty close. I personally would lead Mammoth myself. Because like being able to churn out extra bodies is huge. And if you have like combat tricks, then it makes attacking with it really dangerous for your opponent. Um, but a Ketrodon, you can never go wrong with it. So whatever you're feeling, I don't think that either one is necessarily like the objective correct choice.
Okay. Well, I know how to play with the Ketrodon a little bit more than the Mammoth, so we can use pick this up and practice with that.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool.
Um, hmm.
Man, this pack. Yeah.
Can I just rare draft?
If you want, I like this is a pack where example I might just rare draft, but if we're trying to like win the draft, I think you take the course. Was it collision course? Is that what it's called? The 2 mana white card. Because there's a scenario where we can end up playing that if we're like a heavy creature deck and then we have, it's like a deal 3 or something. Like that card could very well make our deck. Also that mount, the 3/3, you're not usually too excited about it, but it can sometimes make your deck as well. Um, but if you wanted a rare draft, I wouldn't like think that's atrocious or anything.
Land.
Yeah, that one, Night Market in particular, is pretty great.
I like this one.
Rise from the Wreck. I personally haven't had that much success with it, but we can try and make it work if you want. Um, I guess in if we're green white, it might be a little bit better because you have mounts specifically. Um, so we can give it a shot. I don't always do it, but I don't mind main decking a Broken Wings in this format.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I guess a Collision Course I could see playing a second, but we can try the Rise. It's not at all a bad card.
Okay, Volcarn wants to try it too.
All right.
This is the best of one. I don't think we'll have any of these, but I think I'm more leaning towards an Aether Jacket, but
Mhm.
also like maybe an assailant.
Um, so I would take the Silken Strength here. I actually
Oh.
have never played an Aether Jacket, just except out of the sideboard in best of three,
Mhm.
because like that card is very overcosted if you're killing an artifact, and if you're not killing an artifact as a creature, it's also very overcosted.
Yeah. Wait,
Um,
land?
yeah, land. There you go.
No.
And one thing to keep in mind here too. So yeah, land again because like there's a non-zero chance that we can end up being green, not white, and then we can splash the Gallant Strike maybe. Right. So keeping in mind that like we're mostly set like green, but we have really good potential fixing here. So if, for example, let's say we end up with two, um, whatever that green black uncommon is that wrecks everyone. Um, but if we end up with two of those things, then like we could just be like almost mono green splashing black and white, and that's pretty reasonable. Yep. Yeah, compactor. Sure. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Ooh, a
Whoa.
moo.
Well,
Well,
blue was very not open, but that card is so good. Like, that's pretty tough actually. Yeah, thank you, Voltron. Thundering Broodwagon was the one I was thinking of.
well,
Um,
it wasn't open like that way. Maybe it's sort of open this way.
that's a reasonable thought. Um, I Given that we have white splashing, so we can already play like the Gallant Strike if we need it, I would be inclined to just take it and see what happens. We are passing a Catcherdon, but we have two 6 drops already. I think that's totally fine to speculate on. It's kind of like just absurd. So yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, it's worth changing plans to, but not if like we are super cut. right?
Right.
So I think it's
Hmm.
worth to just only like sort of spec on.
Yes. Yeah, this draft is already shaping up to be kind of difficult. Um, I would. So we're kind of torn here. The 2 mana 3/3 is fine if we're going to be green white. It's just a decently statted creature. But I might try and skew blue because our one blue card is so much better than anything we have that's white. So yeah, I might take the Mangler here. Um, and then also Scrap Compactor is a little better in blue green than in green white. So we can end up playing this Scrap Compactor comfortably too.
Why is
So
that?
I think that it's I like Scrap Compactor in blue green because blue green has a lot of the things that have exhaust. And so you can leave your mana up onto your opponent's turn, meaning that they can't use combat tricks and stuff if you have Scrap Compactor. And then at the end of their turn, you still get to use your mana on the exhaust ability. So like
What? That's
it already
cheating.
has extra value in blue green, or really anytime you can use your mana on your opponent's turn.
Oh wait, we have to pick up this little guy.
Yeah, little guy. Yeah.
Blue, green. Ooh. If we want to pull into the blue, we should grab this probably.
I would maybe just go Greenbelt Guardian. We already have a couple removal spells that are splashable. That's like a premium 2 drop. And one thing too that like is kind of mistake I've seen people make. Like having Scurryfoots is not the same as having like 2 drops. Like in some sets, like if you're playing 1 mana 2/1s and stuff like that, you can count them in your 2 drop slot for like your early game. But the fact that you don't want to trade off your Scurryfoot ideally makes it kind of awkward. So it's closer to like a 4 drop than it is a 1 drop, even though you can make use of some of the mana early. So I think making sure your curve is set is more valuable. Um,
But I thought we
yeah.
wanted to
What
like
are you thinking
maybe
here?
cut the blue bit. No?
Mm, I honestly would still just take probably the dinosaur, I think. It's either the dinosaur or the Pathfinder, I think. Um, and honestly, I don't know that we're green blue yet, like we might be. So I would just take the dinosaur. I think it's just generically good, and we know for sure that we're heavy green. Ugh, this pack.
Yeah. Um we we just grab this just cuz I don't know. No, no, no.
Maybe. I might take. I don't think we really want to play it, even if we're blue green. I might just take the surveyor as like a speculation into white. No, I meant
Oh.
the white one, but yeah, that's it's fine. It's fine.
This one.
No. All right, we're back to blue. Um, that 08 actually is very reasonable, I think, in this deck. I'm not usually too excited about it, but it does block the ground for a long time, and I think that's important for us. And we can get it back with Rise from the Wreck if they kill it or if we like mill it off the portable mole or something. So if we are on the Rise from the Wreck plan, then that's reasonable. I think balance off, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Can we cut the white cards except for Gallant Strike right now, just so I can get a feel for what this all looks like? Thank you.
Hmm. Um I don't think we'll play this, but
Mm.
take it.
Yeah, I mean, we might end up a little low on playables here because of how the draft has gone. So just having an extra card that you can play is, I think, fine. So I like the pick.
Broken Wings?
Yeah, yeah, we could play a Broken Wings if we need to. We don't have a lot of removal, so I could see main decking it.
Did you hear about Ekill playing like 4 of these?
No, that sounds awesome. Not not something I would advise that the average person does, but I'm pretty confident that if Equal did it, then it was right in his deck.
Yeah. Maybe this one? Oops,
Um,
too late.
sure. Oh wait, no. Counterspell. Counterspell is a very good 2-drop for blue green.
Oh.
Yay! All right, our deck is good now.
Oh no. We're
Do you not like
playing
counterspells?
counters. Okay. Um, we don't really have that many. We haven't seen the Lagax.
Hmm.
I'm feeling either. I think it's a Scurryfoot.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that seems pretty reasonable. I think you could defensively like consider splashing that 4-2, but I don't think we have much in the way of vehicles or mounts.
Yeah.
So we have to pick up something for it, which who knows if we will or not. So no, I like the Scurryfoot a lot here.
Yeah, because I
Oh,
was
you
like,
have
I haven't seen a Lagac or something like that. I think mounts are taken.
gotcha. Yeah, we do have the mammoth. Vulcan's right about that. But no, I still am in favor of the Scurryfoot, I think
Ah!
myself. Woo!
Wait,
Good
what about
card.
this?
No.
No? We don't
the
want the
no,
removal?
no, no, the 8/8's too good.
Oh,
Like it
okay.
could just win you the game on its own, and the cycle is just incredible as well. Nah, as much as we need removal, and we'd be very happy to pick up a run over, I think we can get by with bounce off scrap compactor. That we'll just take the dinosaur.
You know, Derek, I think DST started like last week or something like that.
Mm. Yeah, stupid daylight savings time. Woo, another good 2-drop. Sign me up.
How do you feel about like the guideline matrix for mounts like this and whatnot?
Okay, so in blue green, you usually are not mounting very hard. So at the very least, in blue green, I'm not in favor of it. I think you need a very, very specific game plan that it doesn't come together very often to make that card even playable, much less good.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, you don't want that card in your deck. And if you do, we're talking decks with 8+ vehicles kind of thing, which again doesn't come together like that too often.
Mm, my creature 14.
Hmm.
I'm thinking like either one of these, but probably more like the Howlers heavy.
Mm. I think I would take the trip up because we're a little light on like actual removal. And a lot of times in this format, I think being able to, in an opportune time, remove one of their like big blockers so we can send with our whole team because we have 3 Scurryfoots. So we'll often be wider than them is more valuable than the combat trick of the whatever that -3/-0 card is. Yep. Yeah, Flood is quite good. I like it.
Yeah, we don't care for the Lagac. The
Well,
Lagac!
this Lagak we care about though. Woo!
Woo! We care about you, not the other one though. Uh, maybe this one then.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. Sure.
Oh, what the fuck?
Woo! Free Ketradon for free.
And a bounce off.
Yes. Well, probably. Yeah,
Oops, too
sure.
late.
Yeah, too late.
Hmm. I think maybe this one. I don't think we'll. I think we have our deck already.
Yeah, I don't think we're playing any of these cards, but I agree that the launcher would be better for in general than the other one.
Oh, another Mangler or another. I don't think we played two of these, so maybe the
Yeah, we're
Mangler.
not going to play 2 Broken Wings, sure. Cool. Okay. All right. So let's hear your thoughts as to what's going on here.
Uh, do we really want to splash a gallon strike still?
Yeah, I think that's an important. Whoa.
Sorry.
I think that's an important question. We did come away with a bit more interaction than we had at the time we were planning that, so I think it's good to revisit. Um, so what I would do is consider what cards in our list here would you consider like removal or interaction that aren't Gallant Strike. Whoa. Okay.
It makes it easier to look. I don't
Gotcha.
always do that, but I think right now I would like. Interaction or removal. Which ones that are not gallon strike?
Mhm.
Um, this one and this one
Mhm.
and this one.
Mhm.
I don't usually prefer trip up because it's expensive.
Okay. Um, let's say we were going to include it though. So would you agree that counts as interaction?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I guess this as well, but it's not always reliable.
Okay, fair.
Um, there's also this.
Okay. Mm. And I think maybe the scrap compactor.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also sometimes that 2 mana 3/3 guy, the green guy, um he cycles, so he's like pseudo interaction. He's a little expensive, but when you can, that's a pretty good effect.
Oh, okay.
Um so okay, if these are what we consider our interaction, and to an extent you can like kind of count the counter spells as well,
Yeah.
then to me, we may not play all these cards, but at the very least, we have access to enough that we maybe don't want to bother making our mana worse with a Gallant Strike, right? So think about, imagine redoing this process and imagine that we only had like 2 cards sitting there at the bottom when you selected all the interaction you have. Well, then all of a sudden it becomes much more appealing to splash your removal because it's something that your deck is missing otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so here, I think we have enough. And so, to your question, hey, should we splash that Gallant Strike still? I'm kind of on board with the idea that maybe we don't want to.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Um,
Um, and then, as far as building the deck, what are your thoughts, or can you show me like how you would go about it? Assume that the mole gets to go in there.
all right. Well, then I guess. Okay. Obligatory this. Um, I go by the cards that I think are just good. So be this. I don't know how to feel about that one. I've never played with it
Hmm.
before. I think stat wise it's good, but
Yeah, it's just big enough on its own that you're gonna play it.
okay.
Um, also, it grows your Catrodons and your 8/8,
The
which are
Ketchaton's
nice.
a dinosaur?
I know.
I thought okay. Makes sense, actually.
That checks out. Yeah.
And then I guess this one too. We were supposed to play that.
Yeah.
I think another bounce off.
Okay.
So we're at 23. Um, you said this was good, so I'll take your word
Mhm.
for it. Do you want to play 2 of them?
Yep.
And then, okay, let's take a look at the rest of the deck. And this is sometimes the thing that I have a hard time visualizing is like the extra cards that I'm going to add in sort of would complement what the deck's meta is like, right?
Mhm. What do you mean when you by that?
Well, some decks are like, well, it's better in the early stages of the game, mid game, or
Uh-huh.
late game.
Okay.
But like during those parts of the game, what are they supposed to be doing, right?
Gotcha.
Is it just blocking so that we get our big cards, or is it more aggressive for any reason of this? Or is it more like a sacky, cycly thing? If that's the case, we put here. But sometimes
Mhm.
I don't have a good way of picturing how the deck plays out and what it's sort of meant to do.
Okay. So here's my thoughts. So I think it's good to think about the plan of your deck. The things our deck has going for it. It has good card quality, right? So we have this like Rex, we have this the Mu Youngling, and we have the Mammoth, right? Ketchadon. So we have good cards. Um, and so for the most part, I think if the game goes long, we're going to be favored against most decks. So
Okay.
okay, we're okay with the game going long. We don't have to end it quickly, anything like that.
Mm.
Um, other than our blue rare, we and maybe our green rares to an extent, we don't have a lot of card advantage. Maybe Scurryfoot you can count as some card advantage by going wide. Um, but we do have a lot of creatures that create a lot of power but on their own. So Rex, Ketradon, Scurryfoots again produce 5 power on their own each once they're like exhausted and stuff. So that makes means to me I like 2 bounce offs because when you can go wide, then removing bounce creatures for cheap is good because you can send all your creatures and it also blows out double blocks and we have big things. So all of those mean bounce off seems pretty good to include too. Um, we do probably want either like maybe one more 2 drop, like defensive 2 drop then is what I'm thinking. Because since we have games that are going to win long games, it makes sense that maybe shoring up our early game is worthwhile. So either, yeah, the Coral Tyrant or the Mangler seem reasonable to me. What's the crew on the Mangler? I forgot. Is it 2 or 1? 2. Okay. Um, so yeah, I think either of those is good. I actually am not a um, huge fan of the Howlers Heavy myself. Um, I think if we have 2 bounce offs for interaction and we have decent removal, then we should be okay there. And the Silken Strength. It's not bad. Maybe we can reconsider and say that it's good because we have big Ketradons and dinosaurs and stuff. But like the cycle on the Agnosaur Rex does something similar, as does the Silken Strength. So yeah, and I like Flutterdev's point too, that because we have our blue rare, the Mu Youngling, the Manglers get better because we can give them flying and then hit and draw cards. So I might put in at least one Mangler for sure, and maybe even the second one. Maybe one Mangler and either 2 Manglers or Mangler and the Howler's Heavy back makes sense to me. I think either of those is fine,
I think
whichever you're feeling.
I like being able to draw a card if I need it.
Okay.
Um, and also if I don't have like indestructible spells, it's good against death touch creatures.
Hmm.
But I
Okay.
was also thinking like if Rise from the Rack would be kind of cool because we have cycles and stuff, and those would be like kind of
Mhm.
cool to get back.
Yeah. Okay, so I like your idea specifically with the death touch creatures. I think that's a really good point. And I didn't even think of that, but like specifically the matchup with engine rats, they're really good versus our deck because they come out early and they can block all of our big stuff. And Howler's Heavy is a great answer to that. So I think that you make a really good point. So I like the Howler's Heavy for that purpose. Um, and then as far as the rise from the wreck, though, I think it's probably gonna get back maybe one creature, maybe 2, um, for us. Um, we can try it if you like, but then I guess we have to figure out what we want to cut.
Nah.
Okay, because I like all of our cards for the most part, um, and they're all pretty good cards. So I think myself, run it something like this.
Okay.
Cool. Yep.
I'm gonna take a sip of water.
Hmm.
Really? I always shove it into my deck and I never regret it.
Oh yeah, I'm with Volcron though. I've never really played that card. I've cited it in grindy matchups, but yeah, I haven't main decked it yet.
Yeah, like I would have never played a spectral interference.
Oh yeah, spectral interference is great,
Yeah, I would have played it in a best of 3, but not a best of 1.
especially with Scurry Foots. They go very well. Anything where you're gonna have mana up to exhaust with a decent exhaust effect, because then you
Oh,
can choose
duh.
to exhaust or counter depending on what they do.
Ah.
Which is why it's good in blue green specifically, because again, the blue green has the most concentration of exhaust cards.
Goddamn insight, guys. Pearls of wisdom. Um, hmm.
Oh yeah, this hand sucks. I would keep it.
This hand sucks that we keep it because of this fucking thing, huh?
Yeah, well, also, so if you plan out like on the draw, you should expect that you're going to draw a land before your turn 3 with 2 land drops, right? Or turn 3. So at the very least, you have a plan, right? You can play Scrap Compactor, you can counter their turn 2 thing, and then you can Scrap Compactor something. And assuming you hit, let's say, a forest or something, the Lagok can block something big too. So I think this hand is, it can go wrong, but it's better than going down a card. Well, for not being a forest, that was a fine draw.
What
There
the
we go.
fuck?
Counter.
Ah!
What? Well, so that's gonna probably cost us a little bit, but we're fine. See, that's why you don't like the counters. You have to cast them.
I didn't have to pay attention. I don't...
It's okay. I've actually done that several times. You're just like, they're like, cast a spell. You're like, okay, and then you're like, fuck. So no,
Yeah,
I hear you.
I do it
I've
all the
done that.
time. I do it too often, actually. Do I just like flood it then, or do I do this? Like,
Um, yeah, I guess we gotta think now because we are in trouble a little bit. Um, huh. If we kill,
they did miss a land.
I,
Someone.
I think I would not flood. I would pass the turn to start and see what they do because they missed a land drop. If they go to attack, then we're gonna try and kill the coordinator. But imagine they play like a vehicle instead of like another creature, which would be decent for us because they want the trigger on the 3/1. Then we'll make a decision based on that. So now that they attack, we'll kill the 3/1 because we can't take 6 damage. Okay. Oh, that was a really, really good draw. I, because we can play that now and keep up a counter spell. Wait, actually, wait. I fucked up. Well, we cancel? Yeah. Maybe we want to play the Lagok instead, actually. Because specifically, they both trade off with their creature regardless. And this way we use our green mana. Since we only have 1 green,
Mm-hmm.
it might be matter later on that we use our green mana for this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want me to hold this up or put the Mangler out?
I would hold up the interference because we can take 3 damage, and countering their potential 4-drop is much more important than playing our Mangler this
Oh, I
turn.
see what you mean. Okay.
Right, so we want to try and catch up on tempo here.
Oh,
Yeah, so we'll counter that one for sure.
catch up on tempo. To
And
block
I
this?
think we want to block the 3/1 is more dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just play the Mangler and pass, and Cool. Okay. Woo! No attacks. That's great. Ooh, counterspell. That's even greater. All right. Yeah, we just pass again here. No reason to do anything else, I think.
Oh, don't touch him.
Nice. So now we can play or cycle the Rex probably because we want to draw. It saves our guy, and yeah, and then we don't take damage. And if we get to the Aurek Mammoth card, then I think we're in good shape. I have trouble reading. Just got to sound out the, you know.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
uh,
Right. So what's the play?
I think we just put this out and then we could just hold it up because we have the mana to either exhaust it or do this and this.
Yep. Perfect. Exactly.
Beans. Our beans are chilled.
Yep. And so this is like why the counter spells are so great, right? Because we get to chill and we're like, oh, that card sucks. We don't need to counter it. We can just use our Scurry Foot this turn.
Counter that? I feel like
It's kind of close. I would probably not count, or I would not counter it myself because it's better to use our mana on the Scurry Foot, is my opinion. But if you want to counter it, that's okay. But I guess I'm not that afraid of that card, is guess what I'm saying.
I guess like in a way it could make it but they have more options, right? This could just like hog all their mana for all I know, right? Because they still have to like maybe try to exhaust it. But then that would get them another creature. Anyway, I'm just gonna let it go. Because if they decide to attack with this, they can I can still block with a 5/5 at least.
And then don't forget to exhaust before you. Yeah. So now we're crushing. We gave them a full turn of not countering something, still crushing.
And Maria, thank you so much for the raid. We're having coaching. Ooh, bounce. Make your life hard? Maybe. Can I
so here's what
crew this?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And then swing in?
I was thinking that actually, yeah. Like I was thinking maybe flood the engine even because we have a counter spell and a removal spell, so we can afford to spew a little bit to pressure. So like you can flood the engine on their 3/3 probably, and then crew and send. Yeah. Just like hit for 8. Sure. And so this is another important part of this format too, I think, that sometimes people miss out on. They get so used to the mindset that like, oh, this format is like a board stall format or something like that, right? What is this block? Oh, maybe they have a Wrath, so okay, we should be careful of that and just kind of chill. I have no idea what that block was.
They probably just didn't want to take the damage.
I guess, but that's... Oh, look, we just win. Cool.
Whee! Thank you, Emerald.
Yeah.
we're doing a coaching session if you want to learn more about drafting and stuff.
But yeah, so so I was saying like I think a lot of people don't appreciate, even though the format does tend a little slower, how important it is to get damage when you can, because the higher the discrepancy between your opponent's life total and yours, the more pressure it applies so they don't have attacks, and that gives you time to draw into your answers.
Wait, what? Say that again. Slower.
So like even though the format it tends a little slower, it's still important to apply damage to your opponent because the bigger the differences between your life totals, the harder it is for the person with the lower life total to become aggressive when the board stalls. And the reason that's important is because let's say you both have these boards full of creatures, you each have like one really good blocker. Then if they're at a low life total and they can't pressure you kind of comfortably, that gives you more time to draw into your answers, like even like your what is it called, bounce off or something.
Huh?
And if you can then create situations where, okay, I have my interaction, so my combat's good, or I can remove their blocker and send with all my creatures, those things benefit you in a long game. And that situation is cultivated by you getting damage in when you have the opportunity. That's why sort of it's really important still to attack when you can.
Oh, they might have had a wrath but not a second white. Yeah, probably. They were like pretty screwed. Okay.
Yeah. Although honestly, I don't even know if that play makes sense with the wrath and not a second white, because assuming that they're trying to draw their white mana, it makes more sense to just not block and exhaust it the following turn, have an extra blocker, get the same block they had plus one more, and then get one extra draw step to their wrath. So yeah, I really can't imagine what that block's about.
I can. I'm bad like that. I've been
as
there.
far as far as decision making goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, oh yeah, this is a fine hand. It's not great, but we can keep it.
Okay.
Do you not like this hand?
It's just not how I play Magic. But I think this is supposed to be a good hand.
It's like fine. It's not great, but the idea is that we have a lot of six drops in our like that in our deck. So we have a hand on the play where we're going to be able to counter likely their first play. That gets us to turn 3. We have a removal spell for their turn 3 or 4 play if we want it, and it's going to get us to our 6 mana most likely, which is where we start casting like our more expensive stuff. So yeah, we should counter that thing. That thing's kind of dangerous in the long game, and we're trying to play a long game. So cool.
Would you flood that? Would you flood
I would
this?
most likely, yeah.
Would you flood this rat?
Probably not.
You would flood this?
Yes.
Would you bet? Okay.
So the idea is, first of all, we don't know if they're splashing. So, but there is a reasonable chance that they have, some splash, and so restricting the colors of mana they have is useful. We have to flood something, so it's between the bike and the rat. And the rat is gonna block our big thing, so that's the part that makes it scary. But let's say we flood the rat, they just play a 4-drop creature on their turn and then hit us for 4, and then we're in kind of a bad spot. Whereas the rat isn't applying pressure to us. So the combination of cutting off their mana and denying their pressure makes the bike to me a better choice.
Okay, what if we engined this and whatever 4 or 5 drop they put out, we just bounce it?
Bouncing something just to buy time is usually not a good play because you go down a card and they get to keep their card. So there are exceptions to that, of course, but in general, the idea of just bouncing something to buy time is not ideal. And also to Volkran's point, yeah, they can just crew the bike in response to our bounce.
Cool.
Yeah.
F5, okay.
Okay. This is getting a little scary. We're taking a lot of damage here, unless we bounce that 6/6. But that 6/6 is also not a very nice thing to bounce.
Yeah.
So we kind of have some decisions to make here. Um, hmm. Mhm. So we go to 7, go to
Yeah,
9.
I would just take it and then maybe bounce to 4 right now and then put out the 6.
That's reasonable. Okay.
We have to take the
I
6.
would.
Like we don't have a choice
Okay. Okay. Sure.
because we're gonna lose another 3 life, right? Like if they put it out again.
Yeah, but so the logic in bouncing it, if you decided you wanted to, is that it costs them mana because then they don't have an attack next turn. So, for example, let's say we
Oh.
take the damage, we take 7, we go to 9, we play out the Ketchadon, we go to 13, and they just have a run over. Then we probably lose the game. And they haven't had anything to run
So
over
should I
yet, so it
bounce it
could
right
still
now?
be in their hand. Well, I'm not. If you want, like I said, honestly, I couldn't tell you that it's definitively the right play. I think I would be inclined maybe to bounce it here, but I couldn't tell you 100% that's the right play. But I think our card quality is pretty good, so if the game can go long, then that's a good thing for us. And also, another thing about this line is it gives us a chance to kill their vehicle by using the Silken Strength instead of trading the Ketchadon. So again, we're not in a great spot, but I think I like this idea better.
I have 6 and we have to reserve 2. We can't. Well, we could put this out, but then we don't get to exhaust it and also have this. So it's either it's one of Silken Strength and one of the other ones. So like maybe this one. No.
Good. Yeah. I like that. And
Oh,
also
fuck!
note that with the Greenbelt Guardian, you have the option to just exhaust it if you want. So if we don't want a Silken Strength, then we can use all of our mana this turn. Yeah, looks good.
Irritating because the Silken Strength is good, but any other creature looks suspicious because of the exhaust. We do love JJohn. Hi, strategist.
Strategist, woo!
Why do they have a maximum overdrive? How fucked are we?
Large fucked. So, yeah, I think we just go here. And I would actually not Silken Strength here unless they give us a reason to do so. I would just let the damage happen. Because if we go for the Silken Strength and they have, again, like a run over or something, then we're just dead. Well, fuck me, right? Woo! Second beetle.
I think I just exhaust this now.
Yes. Wow, that's a pretty nice draw.
Yeah.
So we should just cast that guy. It just adds the most power and toughness to the board, you know. We have to kind of accept that the way this game is played out, they had 2 beetles. We maybe are not beating like a combat trick or removal spell this game, but we still have ways to play through it with like our double blocks and stuff. So here I'm double blocking with the Guardian and the 3/3. If they have something, they have something, but we can't just take 6. And if they don't have anything, then this block is fine.
Oh.
That's actually not the worst. That trades 1 for 1 for us. That could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Volkron, I guess it kind of depends on how much respect we want to give our opponents, which, you know, always a fair question to ask. But like if it were me, I could very feasibly see just taking the trade there, especially if they have like another one in hand, which we didn't know at the time, but yeah. Cool.
I think I would be inclined to put this out because we can
Uh-huh.
start attacking the air hopefully somehow. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, no, exactly. I'm with you.
But they have a reacher.
Yeah. Which maybe they might even block with at some point. Um, and we can like soak in strength or something. But we'll see how this plays out. I would definitely go with this as well though. It gives us the most options moving forward.
And now just pass.
Yeah. Now when they send with the 6/6, I'm now at the point where I'll just soak and strike the mammoth and try to go for that.
Okay.
Oh well, that's pretty bad for us, but very well. Yep, crew is good. Yeah, so I'm just going for the block here. And I'm going for it. If they have it, they have it. But this is our best chance to win, I think. Yep.
Ah! Quit it!
Oh, broken wings. That's rough.
Rip.
Oh well. I think we're gonna lose this one, but
Yeah.
it happens. It is interesting if we should double block there, but I think the answer is still no. I think we just had to take that risk with one card in hand because if you double block, then even if they have nothing, we're still giving them the 3/3, and that 3/3 kind of matters to us quite a bit on this board. So, oh well, they had it, and we'll just kind of hopefully get there. Uh, yeah, I don't really. I'm trying to think. It's pretty hard to find a way back from here with our deck, because we're going to be taking a lot of damage here. Because they can exhaust the worm as well. So we're gonna make our guy.
I could also
And then
exhaust this right now and make a 3/3. I don't know if that's worth like using to block anything.
um I think we should probably just 6. Huh. Yeah, I think I would just double block and take 7. Double block the 6/6
Well, I was saying
because
triple block the 4/4.
yeah, I thought about that too. We could triple block the 4/4, but my thought is like one of the interaction spells we have that could maybe claw us back into the game is a bounce off, and I'd much rather bounce the. Well, they have it also. This happens, but I'd much rather bounce the Hazard the Dunes after they maybe later put 7 mana into it than bounce the Debris Beetle, which has an ETB. Um, so I like doing it this way instead. Um, yeah, but oh well.
Hazard has trample, so it's not really good to put it a three in front of it. Or oh, you
Oh,
meant three
Meech,
creatures.
which
Triple
double
block.
block?
Okay. I need to use the restroom. I'll be right back, girl.
Okay. In fact, I too will go pee. I'll be right back, chat. Okay, I'm back. All right, let's see. So Minch, when okay, so when they had the trick, I don't know if chat kind of answered, but the idea was we blocked their 6/6 with our 5/5 and then put the +1/+2 on it. So ours was a 6/7. So the goal was to kill theirs, but then they had the broken wings. If we had double blocked, then even if we put the +1/+2 on the 5/5 to make it a 6/7, then they could have done 3 damage and killed our 3/3. And so we would essentially be giving up a 3/3 we wouldn't have to give up in the scenario where they had nothing. So we were making like an educated risk or like a like calculated risk that they didn't have anything because the game was pretty close. And I didn't think that guaranteeing to throw away a 3/3 was a better chance to win than gambling they didn't have interaction with their one card when they hadn't had a lot of card selection either. Um, if we were ahead by more, or if the like we had some reason to think that they had interaction more likely, then I would be inclined to maybe double block and give away the 3/3. But yeah, because the game was pretty close and because we didn't have any specific reason to think that they had it, then yeah, I wanted to try and go like Volkran said for the max upside. And again, oh, for a myriad. If we put 3 in front of the hazard, then like we're the worst case or like the default scenario is we still trade 2 things for one of their creatures, right? And we the trade happens. But I would say that like we're in kind of a worse position if we end up with like a bounce or if they have like a way to I guess they already had another beetle in their graveyard, so that part is not relevant as far as rebuying it. But yeah, I because one of our interaction spells is still a bounce spell. I was just thinking that it made sense to leave the one on board, the worm, that would be easier for us to buy tempo back by bouncing, because there's no ETB. But anywho, yeah, I might have to take off after like maybe one more game, but we can try and get one more in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I still believe. I think the deck's good.
Yes. My opponent just ripped all the top decks.
Okay. Yeah, we can keep this.
Mm. Which one would you do?
Compactin. Well, because yeah, again, so just as I'm noticing, like I think you might be a little bit too willing to just bounce off random creatures.
That's
Like
right.
last game we had to, but like in general that's quite a bad thing to have to do. Like you only do that when you really like you really need to, like we did last game. Otherwise it's not something that you're too excited about.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, the Howler Heavy would have been great last game versus the Engine Rat. They're black green speed, huh?
I would just let it hit me, right?
Honestly, it's pretty close. I would very heavily consider using the -3 -0. Just to prevent a little damage. I think I would just -3 -0 it myself, and to prevent the speed. But it's close. I just like using our mana, and we're not really going to be too excited to just have a random 3/4 lying around against a green deck, most likely. So just getting a card deeper is, I think, my preference.
Yeah, we don't really have anything like super impactful on the board either, so I would have rather draw something as well.
Yeah. I would kill the Surveyor main phase now, before they can pump it in response.
What if you bounce it when they...
We don't have mana to do that.
What?
If we... Well, like, if you try and kill it, that means we tapped all our mana, right? And if you don't try to kill it, then again, we're doing that same thing that we just talked about, where you wasting like our bounce off for not even getting a card for it. Right? So like think of it this way, bounce off returns a card to their hand. They don't lose that card. It's not a removal spell, right? But you lose your bounce off. So bounce off is inherently card disadvantage if you're just using it on random creatures. Right? You go down
I
a
was
card,
thinking
they keep
like
their
maybe
card.
instead, like if I was to have a 3/3 instead,
Uh-huh.
and they pump it, and we bounce it, like would that be okay? Because then they use their mana and they probably can't like replay it and stuff.
Oh wait, sorry, I didn't quite follow. If they did what?
If we had a 3/3 and you know they were probably going to attack with it, maybe just maybe, and they pump it, right?
Yeah.
And then we bounce it, they might not be able to replay it. Would that be
Yeah,
worth
that's
any of
something to
it?
consider. But like again, lines like that, unless you are very close to dying, should be your last resort.
Okay.
Because so think of it this way: card disadvantage is on a scale of 1 to 10 is like a 7 as far as how bad it is. Okay, so bounce off has the potential to get you back in the game quite well later on, but so I'm not saying that you should never use it just to gain time to prevent damage. But you shouldn't look for reasons to do that. That should be like, I have nothing else to spend my mana on, or I have no other way to prevent that damage. But provided that you do have other options, you typically prefer to go with your other options. Oh, that's great.
I think we hold this up to like bounce the Mu Yanling back because I think they're gonna try to kill her with this.
That's a good idea. Sure.
But I think I can put out the scurry foot still though, and then crew it to attack with two.
Yes, I like that a lot. That seems like a very good plan to me. Um, oh wait, actually, hold on. I didn't realize they kept up 3 mana. We might not want to attack this turn.
Oh, because it can just kill this.
Yeah, and if they use the scrap compactor on our scurry foot, then we can just exhaust it.
Okay.
And then if they don't, then they waste their 3 mana, which is great for us.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly what Volkran said. Basically, they're going to waste their mana unless they have another removal spell, in which case, oh well, that's fine anyways. Yeah.
Then do I get to attack with the Mu Yanling or not?
I actually would maybe not. Specifically for the reason, like, they might attack with their 2/1. And we can just block with our guy, and then if they go to scrap compactor it, then we can bounce it and we just get a block out of it, which I think matters maybe a little more. Okay, this is fine too. Sure. So here I think we just, yeah, scurry foot, use our mana. Okay. Probably go to wait, before you play your land, you might want to go to combat and hit with the 3/2. Because we're gonna do that anyways, I think, and it draws us a card. Yep. Cool. Good draw.
I'm gonna put this down as a green.
Well, we should plan out what we want to do with our mana here. Because, like, for example,
Well,
let's say we have... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking just playing this out so we don't have a tap land that we... Like, I know it can cycle, but I'd rather not have a tap land that I'm, like, sort of maybe awkwardly going to use later. And I just, you know, so it gets it out of my hand and I can still hold either one of these up.
So I was thinking having Scurry Foot up plus Exhaust plus Bounce Up is probably worthwhile. Or if we don't want that, we can also have Trip Up as a plan as well. And
Okay.
so, but we need to have the island in order to do that, right? Because we don't actually need more lands in our hand. We don't have any triple green in our deck, and we don't have ways that we're probably going to need triple green, like multiple green cards, since we have no green cards in hand. So
Right,
it's
but what
maybe,
about all the stuff that we might need to like exhaust with green?
well, we only have one thing right now that we need to exhaust, and we don't have any green cards in our hand, right? So I mean, like, and don't forget that in general, spells are better than lands, even if we're going to need extra green. So if we can cycle this night market, that's actually like a pretty advantageous thing for us.
Okay. And then Nordic.
Oh, Nordic, good night.
Can I bounce it now? No, right? That's a bad thing. Because it comes down and gets another 3/3.
I honestly might consider tripping it up, because we can get a really big attack in, but it's going to be pretty tough, because we don't have a good block either, really. Hmm. No, I think I would let him attack, and then with the plan of exhausting the Scurryfoot and just triple blocking it, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Because I think as long as we keep this Wu Youngling alive and we're hitting with our flyer in the air, we're going to win the long game. So we can do this here. We need to triple block so that they can't scrap compactor to blow out our block. But then if they have something else in addition to that, then we can bounce it after the fact, which is not ideal, but fine. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
I
this is
see.
great. This is great. Sure.
Okay.
Now they go to kill our guy, and like you had mentioned, now we can bounce it. And notice this play would not have been possible if we had like a tap land in play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now we crushing.
Oh, now we
Good.
get
Yep, we
two
need to
vehicles.
pre-combat that guy.
Huh?
Yes. Oh yeah, I was gonna say yeah, we need to pre-combat the youngling.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, looks good. And then I would maybe play land. Oh yeah, which one of these is summoning sick, right?
Yeah, this one.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Want me to play a non-tap land?
I guess we can send first to see what we draw.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, again, we probably want to play a non-tap land.
I'm not gonna send a 3/3.
Good. Yeah, that's a good decision. I like that.
Bounce off.
Whoa, that's pretty good. So I'd play an island and then just pass the turn. So we're in real good shape here.
Hmm. Did you say play an island so we can maybe cycle this, or what were you
Yeah,
thinking?
we'll see. Exactly. We'll see what they do. Um, I'm thinking, hmm. I guess we could block. The question is if we want a crew to block or not. Um, does the Mu Youngling draw for each card that creature that hits? I forgot how it works. I haven't actually ever opened that card.
No, it's just one, I guess. Whenever one more creatures to
One
control.
or more.
Yeah.
Okay, I might be inclined to just screw and trade both then. By not putting the Mu Youngling in combat, that means we won't be forced to bounce if they have like a combat trick, which means we can leave it up. So if they have a removal spell for it, like they have a spin off, whatever it is, then we can save it still.
Hmm.
Sure. Like we're
Ah.
still beating this pretty easily, I think. So fortunately, we're still doing all right. And I would cycle the night market here, I think. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So now we're just send in the air, see what we draw, and probably play the Ketchodon and yeah. Tap the 2/2 because we do want to block the 3/3 with the 2/4 now since we don't have a better block. That's a good draw.
That's we can put both
So we'll
of them
just
out.
Ketchodon.
But would you want to hold this up?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would probably just play the Ketchodon and keep up the bounce off myself.
Okay.
It is kind of close though. I agree that it's not an obvious one. Well, maybe. No, I take it back. I would play out the Lagok.
Okay.
The reason being, we need to guarantee we have a good block on the Mammoth, kind of. And if they have a removal spell for the 6/6 and we leave up the bounce up, like bounce up the Mammoth is not something we're really interested in doing. So I think just having 2 good blocks against the Mammoth is better.
Oh.
And we're at the point if they haven't had a removal spell for our 2/4, so the likelihood that they have it this turn is fairly low. So I think we can risk just using our mana this turn.
Huh. I would usually think that would be the opposite, because the longer the game goes on, the more likely they are to have removal, no?
Well, so here's the thing though. We know they didn't have removal last turn, right?
Okay.
Or we're very confident because if they did, they probably would have used it to keep their Mammoth alive. Or not, no, that was 2 turns ago, but to kill our 2/4. So if they didn't have removal last turn, then the only way they can get it now is their draw step. So it's just, did they have removal on the top of their deck or not? Right? So it's not necessarily about the number of turns that have gone by. It's about if we have a read on them having it before or not.
I guess that is one of the things that I don't understand. Like, they didn't have it last turn, why wouldn't they have it this turn? You know what I mean? Like, they could have drawn into it, and that's not information you think is, like, relevant, or how does that work?
Well, it is relevant, but the point is, the real question is how many cards do they have access to? Let's assume they didn't have it last turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's this turn. How many extra cards have they seen from their deck?
I guess just one.
So, and that's what I mean. Compared to, let's say you're on like turn 4, they still drew 7 cards from the top of their deck that you don't know about. So it's not so much a matter of the total number of cards that have happened throughout the game as much as it is a matter of the number of cards that you have information about throughout the game.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Cool. Anyways, I think we're kind of crushing.
I think
I would probably flood the engine that 5/5. Oh no, you can attack first. I think that should be okay. Yeah.
Or should I flood it first and then do I want to like swing with the 6/6?
That's a good question.
Because I can still bounce another thing too on top of that if they decide to like double triple block.
Yeah, okay, I'm on board with it. I'm fine with this. I think you could make arguments both directions, but I think attack with 6/6 is very defensible. The only scary thing though about attacking with a 6/6 is you make their attack a little scarier because if they can turn on speed and still keep the gas guzzler, then they can, for example, sack the thing we just put the enchantment on. And they get their starting column active. That's why my first instinct was to not attack. But I think it's totally fine. They're getting really close to dead, so if they don't block, then they're dead to the flyer next turn. So this makes sense to me. I think the more I think about it, I like your idea of attack better than my idea of not attack. So I'm into it.
Cool. Oh shit. Would you play it out now?
Probably not this time.
Oh, okay.
The idea is I don't think we're really getting in that much on the ground. And it would actually be kind of good for us if they send with everything here. So I think that just holding up is fine because if they spend a lot of mana, well, that's kind of scary, but I'm glad that. Okay. Yeah, I think we can just trip that up now to use our mana.
Take the Gussie back.
Get out of here. Oh, oh,
Sorry.
that's a pretty nice draw.
Okay. Mm. Pull them. Say they block this one thing. Two. And then we can get in for 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we're too short.
I think we can play the Scurryfoot and probably use oh, and the Ketradon. Oh, cool. We
Oh,
just win. Cool.
yay!
I would
Because
say
I was
so. The
thinking
plan
we
there,
have
if
to.
you want to go back to the board just to talk about it,
Oh yeah, let's do that.
I think what we could do. Woo. So like we know they're gonna draw and probably play their blue green rare thing. So what we want to try and do is pressure them as hard as we can, because when they do that, we're gonna bounce off, remove their blocker, and try and kill them the following turn. So we want to try and attack with as much as we can afford to attack with this turn. I think the plan here then, and we also want to build up the biggest board we possibly can. So I think we would play the Ketradon, use it to turn on the mount, the Lagok, so it can attack as well. Send with the Lagok and the 6/6 and the Flyer, which will crew with one of our 2 power guys or the new Scurryfoot. And then hopefully they'll jump like maybe 2 things or whatever, and take some damage. And then next turn they'll probably be dead when we bounce off their blue green frog guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it would have been put this down still, and then attack. Yeah, because I was thinking like we should probably like attack as much as you can right now because they do have a reacher, so this stops doing damage after that comes out unless we like bounce it again, and then you know what I mean.
Good. Yeah, we want to pressure as much as we can. So we were planning to attack with the Lagok and the Flyer and the 6/6 this turn.
Okay. And we would keep this for next turn when they put it out.
Correct, exactly.
Okay.
So we remove it, we get another round of good attacks, and from there, if we don't have lethal at that point, which I think we very likely would, then then we can even kill them the next turn when they cast the Subsun in.
Okay.
I think it's called.
Yes.
All good.
Yay!
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. If you have like if you ever have like 17 lands logs or something and you want to go over any of them, I do think that's probably the best way that you can get better is
Yes.
reviewing after games, because as you saw, like when we're talking about things during games, it's really hard to make improvements because there's so much to actively think about other than improving. So especially for anyone in chat too, that's like if you're actively trying to get better, like going and reviewing your games is usually more productive and improving than just like focusing really hard while you play. Of course, you should try and make the best decisions you can during games, but if you're serious about getting better, like doing your homework outside of the games is really where most of the growth is going to happen. Cool. All right. Well, good luck with this. I hope you can grab a trophy there.
Okay. Well, thank you. Do you have like 2 more minutes?
Oh yeah, what's up?
Okay. So, rewatching my 17 land stuff, I have trouble with it because of 2 things. I feel like I don't know what to look for that was a mistake. You know what I mean? Because because my brain is too bad at like implying what one thing means and the other. Like for example, I was like, yeah, but what if they just draw the removal? We don't know that, blah blah blah. And then you gave me the logic towards that. There's those things that I don't really know, like that I should focus on, and is a telltale of X, Y, and Z. You know, so it's like when I look back at my games, they don't really mean anything to me. Also, it's like listening to my own voice in a recording.
Gotcha. Yeah. So 2 things. As far as that second point of like where it feels like you're kind of just like sort of agreeing with yourself because you're the ones that made the decisions. That's where I think time can come into play. There's kind of a sweet spot, at least for me, where if I wait like a couple days before I review a game, it's long enough that I don't um like I remember the game well enough to at least have an idea of what I was thinking, but also it's not so immediate that I just like blindly follow the same line of logic I had when I played the game.
Oh.
So that's one thing, is having a little bit of a delay between when you play the game versus when you review it. At least for me, that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then as far as how to analyze your games, one thing is, I mean, I don't know if your chat is into that. I suppose people don't like watching 17 lands, but like if as a collective effort, like one way that I've gotten better is talking about my games with people that are better than me, or even just people that are good players that have different ideas, right? They don't need to be objectively better or worse, but I can load up a replay and look at it with someone who's a good player. And like if I loaded up a replay and went through it with Volcron of the game I played, because I know that they're a good player, right? They probably are going to notice things that I didn't notice. And when I learn and consider someone else's point of view, that's how I can at least expose myself to more ideas. And over the long term, that's going to help you to have awareness at the very least. So I know to consider that the next time I see it.
Okay. Okay.
And then, yeah. And also, I would say that, like, when you review your games, one of the biggest benefits is that you have time. That's the biggest hurdle in trying to make good decisions when you're playing games. Is you have to make decisions quickly. So I know it's not always the most fun thing, but if we are trying to improve, then we spend the time to think through our decisions more thoroughly than we had the opportunity to kind of the first time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I will say, because I've watched, you play your games and stuff too, like on stream and all that kind of stuff. Um, I would say for short-term improvement for you, I think that you should just play fearlessly. Don't like it sounds silly, but don't be afraid of if they have removal or if they have anything. Like they're gonna have it sometimes, and it feels bad when they have it. Like that game we just lost, right? Where it's like, oh, they had the answers, and that sucks. We wanted to win and we lost. Oh well. But like the idea of like, I think I've watched you, and sometimes the mistakes you make are like, think of it this way: if you let me give you a scenario. Let's say your opponent attacks with a 5/5, and you have two 3/3s, but and you're at a low life total. Okay, let's say you don't want to double block because you're afraid they have a removal spell, but
Yeah.
you can't take 5 damage, so you chump block.
Yes.
Okay, well, if you chump block, then really you're like giving them, you're making it like they had their removal spell anyways. Because if you think about, okay, what's wrong if you double block and they have their removal spell?
Oh,
They kill a creature
duh.
and you chump block, right? That's the part that's bad. So really, by playing afraid, what you're doing is you make it so they have the removal spell every time, whether they have it or not. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So really what we want to do then is understand that, like, yes, playing around things is good in the long term, but for forming habits, I think in the short term, you can just decide, okay, I'm going to play fearlessly, pretend they never have it, and then over time reel that back a little bit and say, okay, if they have it, like, how bad is it for me? Can I afford to play around it? And going from that perspective might help you out with some of the stuff from the set, where again, combat is kind of weird in this set a little bit too.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much. That will help a lot.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, good luck with your draft. I hope you get there.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, I hope that was a really good learning experience for everybody. If anyone's ever interested in the notes, I have them on Google Drive. And I can share the link with you so you can take a look at it. Each note is relevant to what I'm sort of deficient at. So I think and they're also like really weird subtle things that I'm deficient at. So I think it's worth looking at the Google Doc. You guys are also following.